Hey guys, it's Debbie. Welcome back to my channel where we speak life. Speak what you seek until you see what you said. In today's video, I'm going to be answering questions that you guys have given me throughout my comments and also my Instagram posts as to how to become an EMT, why I became an EMT, and what to expect as an EMT. Now, some of you guys must have seen my first video, which is a vlog, a 24-hour shift. Day in the life of an EMT. If you have not yet, I'm gonna link it up here somewhere. But if you saw that video, you guys were very interested in how I became an EMT, and I guess you guys wanted to know a little bit more so that you guys can be on the right path of becoming one as well. With all that being said, I have created a huge list. Well, it's not huge, but basically a list that summarized all of the questions you guys have asked me. I'm going to answer it in the best way possible and hope I can give you guys good information so that you guys can use it in the future if you want to become an EMT. Now, before anything, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and click that red button down below and subscribe, and click that bell icon notification so that you guys can get more notifications on videos like this. I do love making these types of EMT videos because I see that you guys are fascinated by it, and I obviously love it. It's a passion of mine. So yeah, I'll be doing a little bit more videos of these into my channel. We're gonna get started with this video. So the first question was, why EMT? So I loved, ever since I was younger, I loved direct patient care. I used to volunteer at a hospital down at the ICU unit for geriatric patients, and there I couldn't really do much because my job duties were either giving them water, asking them if they want something to eat, so it wasn't really direct contact. But I saw how much they suffered, and I saw how much nurses there, doctors there have done so much to help a patient out, and so there was where I initiated my love for healthcare, the healthcare field, and helping patients, making their days a little bit more better. So my future end goal is a PA, which is a physician assistant, and I felt like EMT was just gonna put my foot in the door in the healthcare field and allow me to do a little bit more and practice direct patient care, and so I decided that that was something I wanted to do. Next question is, when did you decide? It was late because I didn't really know I had this option until I was 18. One of my mom's friends was working at a local station, and she asked me that if I was interested in applying for that station, and I decided, yeah, you know, I thought this was going to be a great opportunity. So at age 18, I scheduled my ride along where I just sit as a passenger inside the ambulance while the crew's running the calls, you know, taking care of the patients, transporting them to the hospital. I just saw, and although I only ran one call that night and I spent 4 hours in the hospital, I ended up loving it, right? So that was 18. By the time I was 19, I got accepted into the station. I started volunteering at my local station. How did you know it was for you? I was good at it. As a co-pilot, even though I wasn't, you know, taking charge of the unit yet, I thought I was good in knowing exactly what the aide needed, which is, you know, an EMT charge. I was good at taking vitals, I was good at talking to the patients, and it was something that I loved to do. I couldn't wait till 5 p.m. to enter my shift and start the day. Requirements of being an EMT. For Maryland, at least my state, we have an age requirement. Yeah, I don't know if other states have an age limit, so you guys should check that out. What I do know is you don't need to have a bachelor's or associate's degree. You just need to have your high school or GED. And obviously pass the Nremt, which is the National Registry of Emergency Medical Technicians. And you have to pass your state practical, which practical is they give you a scenario with a real patient. You have to care for that patient like you would on the field, and you have to do it based off of your state's protocols. Is it competitive? At least for me, no, but they are asking you for a lot, meaning that you have to be committed and you have to have the time to do so. As long as you meet the prerequisites for the program you want to go into, you're serious about this, and this is something you want to do, you shouldn't have a problem. Next question is, how did I become an EMT? So in my station, like I said, I applied, I got the interview, I passed my level 1 as a co-pilot, and in level 2, in order to become an EMT in charge, you obviously have to get certified, medical technician's license, and you have to pass the Nremt and state practical. So my county had a program in which, thank God, was for free. So I did a 6-month program for free, and the Nremt obviously it cost $70. I didn't have to pay that. If I failed the first time, I would have had to pay $70, but thank God I passed. But I entered into that program. It was easy, although there's a lot of people that obviously want to be an EMT for free, so you have to make sure that you meet the certain deadline, but you don't apply the week of the deadline, because there's just so many kids that want to be part of this schooling program where you can become an EMT in 6 months. And so I just did it as soon as I applied to the station, or when I got accepted to the station, and then I started my EMT journey there. Was school hard? Yeah, it was not hard with material. It was just a lot of material to memorize, and therefore it was time consuming. So although it was 6 months, we had a certain schedule, which I believe I have all my old notes here. And the schedule we had to follow was it was a hybrid course, and so that being said, we took classes online, and we also came inside to in-person classes to review the content or to practice patient care, actual patient care, like loading them onto the stretcher, how to talk to certain patients, how to lift patients correctly. And it doesn't seem like I have this the schedule here, but it was a lengthy schedule that I had to follow, and we just went about it that way. How did you study? So I was in college at the time, so I just grabbed my wonderful planner. You always need that. And I just divided my time between my college coursework, my EMT coursework, and I dedicated that specific time. And if I surpassed that time, then I just had to manage my time a little bit more efficiently. And so I took notes, but I didn't take miscellaneous notes. I took notes that I knew were important for me to memorize, and I knew that we had a syllabus to go by, objectives to go by, so I always looked at that to make sure that I was up to date with that. So these were my notes that I took. So it was beautiful, beautiful in the beginning, and then let me tell you, as the course went on, notes were not that good. So my notes were sloppy, meaning handwriting, right? But the notes that I had for at least, right here is septic shock, neurogenic shock, anaphylactic shock, all that. The information here is gold. So I suggest that you guys know and study how to take good notes for these educational classes, because it's a lot. Also for the Nremt, so this, let me just show you guys. Don't freak out. I don't know if this is I believe this is still the same EMT book that the courses give to people. And if I'm wrong, then I'm super sorry, because I'm about to show you something that's probably going to terrify you and probably make you change your mind about being an EMT. Boom. Alright, so this is the Emergency Care and Transport of Sick and Injured. This was the book I had to go by. This was a big book, and so from there I took my notes, and then for the Nremt I used this Nremt exam 2019-2020 test prep book, and inside I basically wrote notes. I used sticky notes, and I did the practice quizzes, as you guys can tell. I did all of them, and this I believe made me pass my Nremt, because it taught me the little things that I didn't know that were going to be on the Nremt, and it was great, useful. I will link it down below for those of you guys who are about to take your assessment. Question was, how much did the class cost, or the test? So like I said, because I did it through the county, I went to class for free the 6 months. I also didn't have to pay for the Nremt, but usually that costs $70 for the test. And as I did my research, EMTs, classes, courses, programs, they tend to cost between $1,000 to $6,000, close to $7,000. And that's only because you can get your courses at a local community college to get certified, get your certificate, and they basically teach you everything that I learned in 6 months, between either 4 months to a year. How long did it take? So my process, I started in August. I ended class in the beginning of February, took my exam the second week of February of 2019. I got my scores in 2 weeks. I passed and then I became EMT certified. The question was classes to take prior to EMT courses. So I took anatomy and physiology in high school, so I graduated when I was 17. So it was pretty new, like it was pretty stuck in my head still. I still had that in there. But I wish I took emergency management services, which teaches you not only about patient care but also operational things, like, you know, if there was a car accident, how to go about that, the command system during multi-casualty incidents, MCIs, stuff like that. I wish I knew, and I highly recommend health communication, because talking to certain patients, for example with Alzheimer's or combative patients, you really need to know how to communicate with them to provide them with the best care possible. And I wish I knew that a little bit. I knew that my station luckily gave courses that we had to pass, at least for our packet, that had to deal with Alzheimer's, that had to deal with, you know, other classifications. And all that being said, I highly recommend that if you have the time, go ahead and take that before EMT. It would make your life a little bit more easier. Alright, now time for the serious questions. So, is it hard being an EMT? It's hard, only because there's so much commitment involved. You're dealing with patients that want your help, and you're dealing with patients that don't want your help, and so you're in situations where the patient's combative or they treat you wrong, and sometimes it's just overwhelming, or you make a mistake genuinely because you just didn't know. It's hard because you're always learning something new, but it's so fun because it's always fun to understand certain things, to teach yourself new techniques. And it's hard when you don't put the commitment in, and then after you put the commitment in, you get used to everything, then it's more fun than it is hard. This question is, how long do I plan on being an EMT? So when I start off with my career as a PA, then I would probably typically stop, so that would probably be 5-6 years from now. But I would recommend that if you have the time to volunteer and everything like that, that you should try to shoot for doing it, you know, all your life. As a volunteer, of course. How do you protect your mind from things you see in the field? Like religiously, spiritually, prayer and Bible. There's always a lot of things that you see on the field that you either question or you get super overwhelmed, especially me. I'm very spiritual with my faith. I'm Apostolic Pentecostal Christian. So there's a lot of things that I get saddened about, especially when it's, you know, cardiac arrest, overdoses, DOA, which meaning dead on arrival, ETOH, which is probably the most difficult one, that you have to transport people that suffer from alcoholism or are just drunk in general. So from there, I just pray. Obviously, you can't pray in the field because that's a lawsuit just waiting to happen. But, you know, when I get home, I pray for the individuals themselves, their families, and for the Bible. I just stay consistent with that just because it's something that I have to have in my life. If not, then I'm just gonna be walking around not knowing certain things. And the Bible verse that I tend to go back to always, especially when I catch myself in those moments, is Romans 8:18, which is a very popular verse that states, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed to us. So although we're seeing all these things happening right now, and it's hard, overwhelming, it's sad, it's nothing compared to what we're gonna, you know, see in heaven. So I just keep my head up and know that God is working in certain people. This question is, how do you balance church, family, school, EMT? So again, I already told you guys what my faith was. I'm a Christian, apostolic Christian. My friends and family, I love hanging out with them whenever I have the time. I put aside that time to hang out with them and just catch up with them. School, I attend, if you haven't seen it yet, University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC. It's my 3rd year. I got my associates at Howard Community College. And for EMT, I'm volunteering right now. I don't have a career, although I could choose to do one. I just don't want to at the moment because I'm in school. I volunteer at least once. I try to shoot for twice a week, a 12-hour shift. And then we have to do at least once a month 24-hour shift. And so when you're in school full-time and then you do that and you have church to worry about and everything like that, it's kind of hard, but I managed because I pray about it, because I know, God, if I don't have the time, don't even make it happen. But in the Bible it says there is time for everything, and so I prioritize my time knowing that I have to read my Bible and pray every single day. That's a given. I have to have or attempt to have a stress-free mentality, just because if I get overwhelmed, it's not going to help me and it's not going to help everyone around me. And then I also have my planner right here. So this is my 2020 to 2021 planner, and I tend to just put, the times and the things that I need to do for school. I also have a calendar here that tells me important dates coming up. So I have my exams, my appointments, weekend duty, and stuff like that. So I just try to manage my time that way. What surprised you most about being an EMT? One, that I'm learning something new every day. You would think that after I took a 6-month course and took all these notes in this notebook that I would know everything there is to know about being an EMT and providing the best possible care as a provider. No, that is completely false. That is something they don't tell you, that you're still studying your notes. You're still studying certain, symptoms, signs that you could potentially not diagnose a patient, but you could potentially put out there for the paramedic to be like, oh, you know what, you're right, maybe it's X, Y, and Z. It would help with the way you're going to treat the patient. So you're always consistently learning every single day, and if it's not looking at your notes, it's putting yourself in certain situations where you don't see yourself having, for example, like, you always have something new every single day. It is never the same call, or even if it is the same call, it's never the same patient, it's never the same conversation. And also, you can move up the ladder. So at least in my station, we start as a co-pilot, right? And then as soon as we pass our Nremt and the drills and everything in our level 2 packet, we get to be a EMT in charge of the whole unit, of the whole call. And then after that, you can become a driver. You have to go through driver training school to be a driver. You can become a paramedic. Again, the county offers, at least where I'm at, free paramedic classes. I think it's a year, and you have to pass the paramedic exams. You can become a firefighter. You can go career in the county. It's just so many infinite possibilities that you just have to put the time to research and take the time out of your day to actually fulfill, if that's what you want to do. Suggestions to those wanting to become an EMT, let me tell y'all. Prepare your mindset. Do not be closed-minded when it comes to learning, and develop a strong mentality where, you may see somebody in a horrific accident. And I'm not telling you that you gotta be immune to it and be cold-hearted. What I'm saying is you gotta prepare yourself to see that stuff in the field, to see the most rare, weird things that come about in the field. Just be prepared for that. Don't come into it ignorant, and don't come into it thinking that you know everything, because trust me, you'll learn that as an EMT, you don't know everything. Stay committed, always be a good provider. My instructor always said that if you're a good provider, and this should be obvious, if you're a good provider, your calls will go out smoothly, meaning the outcomes would be great. Your patient is going to tell you everything because they develop that relationship with you. They feel safe, they trust you as a provider, and that's something that you definitely need to work on, as well as have in the field. Because if you suck as a provider, the patient is just not going to have a good day, and they're not going to want to tell you what happened because they just don't trust you. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, I have to be open-minded to learning and terms of communication. Alrighty, last question. Is being an EMT everything you thought it would be? It was everything and more. Being an EMT has taught me to be a better person in my community, be a better Christian, live life every single day, not worrying about the past or the future, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. You never know if a loved one is going to be in the same situation as a patient that you transported like a week or a month or a year ago. So I always tend to live day by day, and it just has taught me to be patient, wiser, to pray more, to read my Bible more, and it's just something that I love. Just gonna put it out there. Thank you for all the first responders watching this video. We really appreciate you guys. We look up to you. At least that's what I did when I was in the process of becoming an EMT. I was looking up to each and every one of you guys. I loved what you guys do. I honor the fact that I get to work in a field like this, and I get to learn a lot of things. So being an EMT, I don't regret it. I will still continue to do it, and I recommend that you guys watching this video should really try it out. But like I said, be prepared for everything. Develop a strong mindset. Know how to take notes, because yeah, just know how to take notes, and stay committed always. There's never a day where you should go into shift thinking that, oh, it's going to be a bad shift, or you're basically overlaying what happened throughout the day onto that shift, and then it affects your patient care. So all that being said, these were all the questions that you guys had for me. I hope I could answer all of them in the most appropriate way. If you guys have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go ahead and subscribe. If you guys want to see more EMT videos, suggestions, anything like that, go ahead and comment down below. Please give this video a big like if this is something that you like for me to do. If I haven't answered any more questions, go ahead and just comment down below, or you can DM me at speak_life with 3 E's. I wish you guys the best in your EMT journeys, and I can't wait to see what you guys do as a first responder in the future. See you guys, and God bless.